Alright, so now we're going to go through some quick troubleshooting tips on an electric oven. This is how I like to do it. I think it's the most efficient way to find out, I guess, where the problem is at. So we're going to start back here, and we're kind of going to follow the electrical path in and through the oven. So you can see on your electrics, you've got you're going to have a big 3-phase cord here, and depending on where the unit's installed and some other scenarios, you may have a 4-wire setup, you may have a 5-wire setup. But for this one, we've got a 4-wire, so you got 3-phase power, then you got a ground here. So starting on the back here, you can see there's a couple of big circuit breakers. So if you have a unit that won't power up or is not heating, this would be, your circuit breaker is going to be the first things you want to check. So that's these two here. And the circuit breakers look, it seems kind of backwards, but when they're red like this, that means there's power. If you flip these off, this turns green. So when it's off, it's green. When it's on and it's not tripped, it is red like that. So then coming through to the other side. So if everything was good back there, you've got power through your circuit breakers. The next place that the power goes is to the contactor here. So, and like I had mentioned, the contactor is it's always in a normally open state. So these are your control wires back here, and the control wires are controlled by the temperature controller. So in this normally open state, the contactor has to be commanded on. So when you command it on, it pulls these in, closes them, and that's going to be with this control power up here. So the control power is going to come from, depending on the scenario, if the oven has a centrifugal switch still wired in, the centrifugal switch must close, and that's what would send the power to this. If it's a newer one that has a current sensor, then as soon as the oven is sensing current, and the current is within acceptable range, then it would close the contactor. So again, if your contactors are not closing, centrifugal switch or fan current, you're going to want to look at the fan motor. It's probably the most likely reason why the contactors aren't pulling in. But so let's say you got the contactors to pull in, so you got power into the contactor, you've got power coming out of the contactor. So the next step is going to be the SSRs down here. And the SSRs, again, are controlled by the temp control. So you've got your main power wires here, and then you've got your control wires are these small ones. So the control wires, again, are opening and closing the SSRs based on set point temperature, actual temperature, to regulate the temperature. So if these are like in a full call for heat and the SSR is closed, whatever power you've got coming in, you should have it measured coming out. So if you measure power on one side of the SSR, the SSR is closed, but you're not getting any power out, then I would say you have a problem with your SSR. So then from the SSR, the wires come out of the SSRs and they go around to the back of the unit here. So now we're going to end up back here. So these are the wires here coming from the contactors. So these go to your elements. You can see all your elements here. This would be a good place to look for maybe loose connections, burnt wires. If you have a bad crimp or something, that can over time, it can melt off.